All right, how's it going, everybody? My name is Jerome, and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. So, it is that time again to talk about the potential future ban list that we're going to be having here shortly, maybe in a month, maybe next January, maybe even next February. Who knows? So, as you can see, we have some cards here laid out. Now, I'm not saying that all these cards are going to get hit. I'm not saying they're all going to get banned, limited, and all that kind of stuff. They're just things that I want to talk about. So yeah, we're going to get right into it. So obviously, first up, we're going to have the, I'm going to start with the monster up top. So we're going to have D-Shifter. This one has been a really talked about card lately. Ever since Cesure basically just being its thing, Shifter has always just been a huge annoying card. I mean, actually, we can even go further back with Flu and stuff like that, but, you know, Shifter is always just going to be that annoying hand trap, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get hit. I just, there's so many reasons why it should be hit, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Would I love to see this banned? Yeah, I would, but it's just not going to happen. I don't think it's going to get limited. I don't think it's going to get semi-limited. I think it's going to stay at 3, which sucks, but it is what it is. So these next two cards, Fenri and Prosperity, these two, right now, I think are just insane. Every time when I come to build a deck, one of the first things I ask myself is, can I play 3 Fenris in it? Can I play Prosperity in it? Can I play only one or the other, So when you're asking yourself that about almost any deck that you're playing, it's kind of telling you that maybe these cards are just too powerful. Fenrir just being able to always banish something, search for another copy of itself. Your opponent has to answer this card. That's why I think that it is correct that if your deck can just put 3 Fenris in it, you probably should just play 3 Fenris, just because it is such an aggro card. Your opponent has to get rid of it as soon as possible. And it just sucks knowing that you can just replace it with another copy. And then Prosperity, I mean, we already know Prosperity is broken. This card, in my opinion, is far better than Pot of Greed. And Greed is banned. So, I mean, this card just being able to look at the top 3 or top 6 cards and just saying, oh, let me grab that. The most absurd thing about this card is just you doing full combo, and then, in your main phase 2, or if you're going first, do full combo and then Prosperity, and then you just pick a hand trap. It does not feel good for your opponent, or it doesn't feel good for you when your opponent does it to you. And I can't tell you how many times I did that, and then my opponent just said, all right, well, next game, because they already know they gotta break the board. But then you just added another hand trap or a floodgate or something of that. So arguably this card, this card in itself deserves in its own way to be banned because of how strong it is. I don't know if they're going to go that far with it. They may just limit it. They may semi-limit it. I don't know. I really think that this card is going to be on the list in some way. It's arguable. You can say that it deserves to be banned. You can say it deserves to be limited, semi-limited, whatever. But, I mean, this card is just way too strong. I think that is actually just probably up there as one of, the best cards in the game right now. So, this card is just insane. Fenrir, does it need to be limited? Does it need to be semi-limited? I don't think that it needs to be limited. Maybe semi-limited, but as of right now, I think it's gonna be left at 3. It's even though it's a really strong, powerful card, it's an aggro card. I just don't see it being touched right now. So this is gonna stay fine. But Prosperity, I'm pretty sure that's gonna get hit. Now, the next one, Aruha and Tour Guide. So this is basically just talking about the Unchained deck. So I don't want to put every single Unchained monster or every Unchained card up here. So I just put Aruha to represent Unchained and then Tour Guide here. Because in my last predictions, I said that Unchained was unfair. Compared to everything else, I said it was unfair. And I still stand by that today. I think that Unchained is the most unfair deck out there. It is broken. I think that it's by far the best deck in the game currently. And yeah, it needs to be addressed. I think that this deck should have already been addressed, but I think that is definitely going to happen now, and the reason why is because of the fire. Was it the Fire King stuff that's coming out? Basically, the Fire King stuff is almost like a weaker version of Unchained, right? So if they want the Fire King stuff to sell, even though they're going to get more support, well, not them, but the Snake Eyes stuff gets more support. It just ties in with it. Even if they just want that stuff to sell, right? So obviously, if Unchained is already doing what the Fire King stuff does, but in a way better because it just continuously keeps floating. What is this? And well, why should anyone that's playing Unchained just immediately buy into the Fire King stuff? So I think that they're going to do the same thing, somewhat similar to what they did with the Super Heavy Samurai, where basically people were like, why should I go into Manadium or Manadium, however you want to pronounce it? Why should I play that deck when I can just play the cheaper version of it that already is out, and I can, full combo, do whatever I want with it? I think the same, and people want to say that they probably banned Scarecrow because it was broken or whatever. I think they banned it because it was a money move, so then they can get people to purchase the next product that does the same thing as Scarecrow, like as Super Heavy Samurai, just like a little bit more controlled or whatever, a little bit more easier to maintain. And it was more expensive, right? They wanted to sell their product. So I think the same thing is going to be happening with this. The Unchained's been out. They're going to probably hit something in it. Now, it could be Tour Guide being limited. It could be an Unchained card being limited. I don't think they're going to flat out ban any of the Unchained cards. I think that's just going to be something limited in it. Maybe not at all. Maybe they could ban. This is why I put Wave Hiking Cesure here, because arguably this card should be banned just because it is just abused like crazy in Unchained. So even if they just banned this, that would turn away so many people from playing Unchained, and they're gonna sit there and be like, well, I'd rather play Fire Kings, knowing that they can do somewhat similar stuff and they're gonna get more support anyway, so might as well move on to the next best thing, right? So I do think that it's gonna be a good money move, and also it's just gonna be good for the player base in general, because honestly, I have been wanting this deck to be kind of just nerfed already. It is, like I said, it is insane, way stronger than anything else out there. I don't care what anyone says, Unchained is the best deck right now, by far, like not even close. So yeah, the next two cards we have here is Kelc Ando. I think that these cards deserve to be banned. They've been out for a while, man. It doesn't feel good playing against an Unchained. Playing against a tier limit player. They hit a Guido or Kelc. It always happens, right? It normally always happens. They hit it, and then you have to play this mental battle with yourself. Do you want to scoop, or do you want to just, take the 5 mils, see if they hit anything good, and see if it doesn't get them anywhere? I hate that feeling. I hate having to sit there and really judge if I just want to go ahead and just scoop and go to the next game, or just play it out. I mostly just go ahead and play it out just to see if my opponent knows what they're doing in tier limits, because a lot of people that play tier limit, they're playing like the newer version without the Kingdom of Swamps, and they don't really fully know all the routes that they can take. So sometimes when they mill the 5, they sit there and they kind of like try to figure out like exactly what to do. And when that happens, I'm like sitting there like, okay, maybe I made the right choice, because they're not too comfortable with immediately knowing what they need to go into. They kind of take their time. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll play this one out. But yeah, I think it's been around for a while. It just needs to go. It's both of these cards are kind of toxic in their own right. So I think we're good without having these in the game. But will they be banned? I don't know. I'm probably going to lean towards them not even being touched. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if just only one of them got banned and the other one stayed in the game at 1. Who knows? So we got Sleepy Memory here. A lot of people saying that Pearly Sleepy Memory needs to be at 1. I honestly think that if Sleepy Memory goes to 1, Delicious has to come to 2. I just think that if Sleepy goes to 1, the deck's just done for. No one's going to play it. Honestly, right now, the player rate of this deck is dropping like crazy. I keep seeing so many people in the Facebook community for Pearly just selling their decks left and right because they don't want to play it anymore. It's not really winning anything. It's topping, but it's just not really holding down that first place, because Unchained is just insane, and then Rescue Ace also busted, and Pearly, it's sitting on a Nor. Yeah, it's good that it can do that, but at the same time, people are playing like the Encores, so many things that just get over it right now. Even some people going as far as, side decking like Spellbounds and stuff to get over it. So I just don't think that Pearly's going to get touched. Next, I personally put Emergency here because I, for one, believe that this card needs to be limited. And the reason why I say that it should be limited, and um, it's mainly because if Unchained does get in a way nerfed, they get something limited or something banned or whatnot, it's only right for Rescue Ace to also get emergency limited, because I don't really like it when there's like typically like 5 decks that are kind of like all at the top, but one of them is clearly just better than the other ones, or 3 decks at the top but one's better than the other ones. If you hit that one particular deck and knock it down, then the second one that's typically like that's kind of like right behind it is obviously going to be the next best thing. It's going to be just dominating everything, and then you have the same thing happening again where everyone's just playing this one deck because it's clearly better than everything else, and then you nerf that deck, and then the one that was right behind it is now the best deck, and it just becomes this whole like domino effect where they just one replaces the other. So I think to prevent that, maybe you have to hit it along with the other deck that's right above it. So then now it's like they're kind of still equal, like it more or less doesn't really change the tier list whatsoever. It just kind of checks both of them and says, hey, we're not going to try to overpower each other here and have this weird back and forth thing. Now you could say that, well, if you do that, then you gotta have to hit the 3rd deck and the 4th deck and stuff like that. But the thing is, I think that Unchained is like obviously is the best one, and then right under that I think is Rescue Ace. Now I think that if you hit Rescue Ace and Unchained, it will bring them down at the same level as the other best decks, because the other best decks I think are just not on the same level as Unchained and Rescue Ace whatsoever. So and also Pearly's already hit, so you know what I'm saying, like might as well just go ahead and try to like level the playing field with these. Now I do know that the new stuff is going to come out, and depending on how that goes, that could be the best deck instantly, but we still got time until that actually happens. But yeah, Skill Drain is here to represent all the floodgates. I don't think none of them are going to be hit, even though I would really love for every floodgate to be limited and some of them banned, but it's just not going to happen. Those days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Are over. So next we have the Neospatial Aqua Dolphin. A lot of people want this one card banned because it's a free look at your opponent's hand. We already have all these other cards that are banned for looking freely at your opponent's hand. So why not this guy? I'm with it. I would like to see it banned, but at the same time, I can see why it won't be banned. Honestly, I don't really care. I don't think this card's going to get touched. If it does, then hey, it got touched. I think that was everything, right? Or did we talk about Calamity? We haven't. So Calamity, a lot of people want this card banned. I think that it's reasonable that it should be banned. So turn skip, almost, unless you're playing Unchained. Hey, Unchained can play through this. It's freaking wild, man. So, but yeah, Calamity probably needs to be banned. Just, it's a toxic card. I don't think we need it. Now, I kind of wish that Runix, personally, I hate Runix. I would love for Runix to get their cards hit, but sadly, it's never going to happen. So, so overall, what do I think fully is going to happen on the ban list? Well, if Konami is keeping up this weird path that they're having with these formats just being pretty much all over the place, it's kind of crazy. It almost feels like there's no ban list at times because like just the crazy things that these decks are doing. It seems like they just want the format to be extremely open as possible. That's what if you looked at the past like 3 ban lists, it seems like they just want it to be as open as possible. So I don't necessarily think we're gonna see that big of a change on the list, because the last 2 we haven't really seen that much. We only seen, what was it? The only card that was like really impactful was like what, a Rise Heart getting banned. That's the only one that I can remember that actually made a difference. So do I really think that we're going to see a number of these cards? Probably not. We're probably, if I had to be real with you, I think we're going to see maybe 3 cards, maybe 4 at best. And if I had to narrow down those 4 cards or those 3 cards, I think one is definitely going to be Prosperity. The second one is going to probably definitely be Calamity. Calamity probably banned. Prosperity, it's up in the air. I don't know where it's going to be at. And then the third card will probably be either Wave High King Cesure or like Tour Guide being limited. And I think that's it. I honestly don't think that we're going to see that crazy of a list. Now, hopefully Konami can prove me wrong. Hopefully they can sit there and say, hey, you know what? We're actually going to do a pretty big shakeup. We're going to ban like 2 or 3 cards, and we're going to limit, 2 or 3 cards, blah, 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 blah. Hopefully they do that. I'm not sure. I would like to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed, remember to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. All right. Peace.